Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Asher and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Steam Shuffle. Today we're taking a look at Moon Hunters that was developed and published by Kitfox Games. This is following a successful Kickstarter, highly successful Kickstarter, that the Square Enix program that they have developed actually promoted this one. It was released on March 10th, 2016, and originally they asked for just over $34,000 on their Kickstarter. They blew that out of the water and hit over $135,000 on their Kickstarter, so highly, highly successful. The game itself is largely based on ancient Mesopotamia and Persia, especially early Bronze Age Assyria. So the mythos in the game is something that's never really been explored in a game to my knowledge before, except perhaps Prince of Persia, although I've never played those. I guess those would be based on Persian mythology, but other than that, it's a concept that's not been explored. The option menu is really limited. It has resolution options, your volume sliders, and that's about it. I would show you, but every time I go through the options and then hit apply, I don't know if it applies to me or having dual monitors, but the game crashes with a monitor resolution error, so bear that in mind. You have to restart it every single time, so that kind of sucks. But we're going to get into it. What Moon Hunters claims is that it is a roguelite in which every time you play through it, the story is going to be completely different. You have a few choice of characters here, and as you can see, it has a 1 to 4 player co-op mode on it, but we're obviously doing it single player. We've got a melee quick blade guy here. We have a range specialist. I've never played as the druid. The witch I beat it through, and she was really powerful. Out of everyone I've played as, she's definitely the most powerful. The Sun Cultist is kind of a melee ranged mixture, and the Song Weaver says she's a support. I haven't tried her out. We're going to go with the Druid. Why not? I haven't done the Druid. I've played through it 3 times so far. This will be my 4th playthrough, and that's one of the unique aspects of this. So as I was saying before, every time you play through, you're supposed to have a different story. Well, you can beat this game in about an hour. If you're rushing it, you can beat it even quicker. And every time you die, you're still going to progress. So if you die a lot, you can finish this game really fast, actually. It doesn't take any time at all. I'm going to skip that cutscene there. But that cutscene, the very opening area that you choose, those are the same every time. Other than that, the areas that you go through are going to be different. And we'll kind of get into that here in a little bit. So, as you can quite tell, it is a top-down action-ish type of game, similar to, say, Diablo or something like that. And this is the only move I know right now. Hold on there. Let me get him out. Alright. So, what's the Druid got? We got the Leaf Barrage, so we got Bulbasaur doing him proud here with the Razed Leaf action. Vine, so apparently Vine Whip. And I guess I can turn into a wolf as well, so. Oh, yeah, that's definitely doing the Bulbasaur's proud. What does that do? Oh, it just slows him. Okay. And then, as a wolf. Yeah, buddy. To my knowledge, druids don't turn into wolves. They turn into cats. Shamans turn into wolves, but that's neither here nor there. So from what I've found so far is the claim that it shapes your story differently every single time you play is a bit misconstrued, we'll say. Yes, every time you play through it, it has different people that you're going to encounter, and a couple of different conversations that you're going to have are going to be different. Oh man, that is really effective. Wow, that really slows them down quite a bit. Okay, I can get behind that. But it doesn't change, obviously, the overall story, because it's at the end of it, the boss is the same, and you still only have 4 days, or 4 levels rather, or 4 lives if you're dying a lot before the game's over. So it doesn't shape it to the point where it's really going to be different every single time. Basically, you're going to have different conversations with people who are there, and you have one of 2 choices when you're talking to them. So how much that actually shapes the end, I can't really tell yet. From what I have found thus far is at the end, you do get a story written about you. I believe that ending story is shaped based on whatever your actions were. I could be wrong on that because I have only played it through the 3 times. What I need to do to really confirm that is I need to play through it with the same character twice and see if the end is the same, because I didn't see too much of that story at the end that was shaped by my actions. So yeah, this part right here, this is always the same. It does this little cutscene and the moon doesn't rise anymore. We get it. That's the same. Now when we leave, from here on, everything is going to be different. So here's your overworld. As you can see, I have a choice of 5 different places that I can go. I cannot do all of them. In fact, once I clear one, others are going to open up. And based on where I start, these wouldn't even be the same. So that's where they get the roguelite elements, where it's going to be different every time you play through, as well as your story elements that are going to be different, because you cannot hit all of these. You have 4 days to finish, and whether you die in 4 levels or not, you're going to go to the end and you're going to fight the last boss. I'm not really sure what happens if you die on the last boss, because I've yet to die on him, because he's actually super easy. But other than that, that's where they're getting the shape your story type of deal. And it's interesting, it's different. It has compelled me to play it. This is, again, my 4th playthrough of it. Actually 5th, to be honest. It's because I tried another character on the recording and the recording botched. So this is actually my 5th one playing through. But the story itself, I mean, it's not really so much a story. It's a few side conversations with some people that don't really impact it too terribly much. I mean, I get what they were trying to do. I don't think they really fully succeeded in that. These guys really suck. So, from what I've played through so far, I've encountered about, we'll say 10. We'll say 10 different enemy types. And you're not even going to encounter all of them on every playthrough, depending on which area you decide to go to. But these little bastards are by far the most infuriating enemy type I have came across. By a long shot. I cannot stand these guys. Ah. Now, there are a couple of areas that you'll find that you cannot progress through unless you have a certain trait. And those traits you get by the actions or the choices that you pick on some of these conversation choices, which I actually haven't even found any to demonstrate. But when I get there, you'll see it. It'll make a whole lot more sense. The little orbs that I'm picking up on the ground, those are your currency / experience points, and the merchants that you can find. They don't teach you new spells, they augment the 3 that you already have. And the archetype it's fairly similar for each character. Yes, they play differently, but it's really your left click is your bread and butter attack, your right click's more powerful and it affects the area in some way or something like that. Like the mage guy, he has like a black hole that'll hold him down for you and stuff like that. And then your space bar is your avoidance move. So there's not a whole lot of difference in characters, but there's enough to make it interesting to play each one, especially when you start augmenting those abilities through the merchants. Those are a whole lot different. This guy is taking me forever to kill. Come on now, buddy. It doesn't really give you much time to get behind him. There we go. In terms of the art style, I do like it. The character models themselves, the one that you play, they're highly stylized, and I see that they did try. All right, so I listened to him, and I got a trait there. That trait was, it's not going to tell me. Now, this is one of the qualms I have with it. The picture that you just saw above my head, I don't know what that was. I would really like if they just said what it is instead of showing me a picture that I don't read hieroglyphs, okay? Just give me a word. I don't know what that affects. I know some of them, because if you look here, I know those pictures because those are my different stats. But that little tree there, I have no idea what that is. And sometimes when you get a trait, they'll be right here in the reputation. But other than that, I couldn't tell you which way from Sunday. There we go. Slow these guys down. I don't hit very hard right now. When I get a few more camps done, I will be able to, because the camps, you have 5 different options. I kind of flew through that on that first one, but each one is going to affect your stats in a different way. The 4 of them are predetermined, except sometimes it'll kind of mess up and do something different than you were expecting. And then the 5th one is the cooking. And if you see these little bags that I've found, like that one right there, those, the first time I got it was an ingredient for cooking. Now when I get them, they don't do anything. All right, what do we have here? Inspect the fruit. Okay, so I got the apricot. Now I can use that in cooking, and I can use it on every character that I make in the future, not just this one. So that's nice. That actually progresses with you. Let's turn into a wolf here and kind of blaze through this real quick. Honestly, that looks more like a hyena. Perhaps a weasel of some sorts. But a wolf, maybe not so much. Healing well. These will fully heal me. I don't really want to waste it just yet. So I maybe can be a little bit more reckless and try to kill these little assholes a bit quicker. God, these guys are infuriating. They're not difficult. They just waste a lot of time trying to kill them. Get behind you. Razor leaf harder. Sometimes the enemies will get stuck on the terrain and you can kind of cheese a kill. I might be able to demonstrate that, but that's maybe a slight oversight because I don't think they're meant to be stuck like that and you just wail on them until they die, but it does happen. There we go. Get you stuck again. These little crystals here, they're the mark next to them, it might look like it says +10. It's actually +1, and some of the abilities are like 200. Some of them, you'll find bigger ones that'll give you more than 1. I think one of them even gives you 50 if you beat a little arena thing, which happens from time to time, and I should be able to demonstrate that as well. But don't expect to be able to get all of the abilities. You're not going to be able to because, again, when you beat a level, that day is over and you only get the 4 days, so you cannot grind everything out. This is not a game you can power through and grind everything down. Nor is there a level up system. It's simply the camp day, whichever option you pick makes you stronger. Now, the thing I can say thus far that I've enjoyed the most about Moon Hunters is the music, the soundtrack to this game. The soundtrack... Huh. I could steal a piglet. Why not? Let's see what happens. Oh, that's what happens. Okay. That's cool. The soundtrack on this game was it was composed by Ryan Roth. I'm not familiar with the rest of his work, but I can say if this game is anything to go by, I'm going to have to look that man up because this is absolutely phenomenal. There's parts where I've kept playing just to listen to the music of it. There is a soundtrack available on Steam. It may be the first time I bought a soundtrack on Steam because it is that good. I could see myself listening to it and falling to sleep at night. It is absolutely fantastic. If I get far enough, I will I'll be quiet for a minute and turn up the audio and let you listen to it because it really just superb work on that soundtrack. Someone more patient would find that tree useful. I'm cunning. I got that cunning skill there because I got a piglet. I don't know what that piglet does, but he follows me around and looks at stuff. It would be nice if he actually affected the game and somehow. That's kind of my, I guess if you wanted to boil down my qualm with it, is it doesn't seem like the choices I make and the things I do, they affect the gameplay much. Yeah, that'll give me a different trait and a different area that I can open, but that's all it does. I would think that someone who gets the more cunning talent would be able to have some type of effect on their attacks, like perhaps my vines would poison someone or something like that. Granted, that's what the experience system is, or the merchants are for, is to augment your abilities, but it would have been nice to see it affect a little bit more. The little tidbit at the end, I'm going to have to play it through with another character because I really need to confirm whether or not it actually does change that aspect of the story. Because other than just little side people that you meet and those traits, that the only thing it affects is the areas you can visit or the little shrines or things out in the world that you can examine, that's kind of lame. I mean, it's a faux pas way of changing the story. And that brings up an interesting point because for pretty much any game that has choice involved in it, it's usually an illusion of choice that's going to lead down a couple of different branches, because two reasons. Well, one main reason that I could see is a developer would have to spend a ton of time on an aspect of the game that only half of the people or less are ever going to see. That takes a lot of effort, and a lot of wasted effort in some cases. So I can see why they wouldn't. It kind of gives the illusion of choice. But with this title, yeah, see how he kind of got stuck there? I'm just going to shoot him until he dies. Like, there's nothing he can do. Bit of an oversight. I don't believe that's intended. Right, let me get a little bit closer so I hit him with more leaves. There we go. Finished up that arena there. That big one there, that one gave me... Oops. That one gave me 15 experience orbs. I don't remember what they call them in this. Opals. They call them opals, that's right. This guy needs to get a little bit stronger. I need to find that camp so I can up my abilities, because it has taken far too long to drop these guys. The Blood Witch, if you want a quick playthrough that you pretty much don't have to worry about dying at all, play the Blood Witch. Her left click practically stuns him every time you hit him, and it's a melee attack. Her right click is a channeled ability, and her space that she dashes forward also does damage. She is a monster. So if you're into killing stuff and you want to get through it, do the Blood Witch. By far the most powerful character that I've played. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It does say on her description that she's strong, so maybe they meant to make her the strongest one, but man, it is a night and day difference between the rest of the characters. Everyone else is pretty much balanced the same. Although the first guy I played that's melee oriented, I died almost every single map on him because you have to be up close to hit everything, and he just got slaughtered. It feels like to me that Moonhunters is almost meant to be an early access game. It feels like it's a bit unfinished. And I know it sounds harsh. It seems maybe I'm just wanting more out of it, and they never intended to do more with it. Oh, those fucking charging guys. I'm gonna run from him. I'm not even gonna fight the dude because it's gonna take too much time, and I really don't feel like dying today. Health pickups are very rare. You'll find them every now and then, but not very often. Oh, but there was a thing there, and I want to go look at it. I'm gonna slow you guys down and run over here real quick. A wise sage. Thanks for nothing. The layout of each one of these maps seems to be different. I don't remember if I've played the same one more than once yet, though, so it's hard for me to say. Oh, almost died. Because you're not going to get a chance to play the same one very many times, and why would you want to? Oh, God, there's a lot of people. We're going to do that. We're getting out of here. That's too many folks. There we go. I think the camp is right up here. There it is. Yep, can't do that in wolf form. Good to know. Cleared the woods. Awesome. So I got the hot temper trait. Known to be secretive, his true face hidden. So that is probably the ending story. How they mean like it kind of shapes itself. And it does. It's not like they're misleading about it. It does shape the story. It's just kind of... It's a is that it type of vibe. Like I was hoping there would be more than that. So we're going to cook something up here that I haven't cooked up. Oh, apricot tart. +5 and energy. Does that +5 to everything? It doesn't say. It just says +5. That's, again, it's with, they don't tell me enough. They need to give me a little bit more info of what I'm working with. I mean, I know I don't know what it's going to be beforehand. Fine. I get that. Don't have a problem with that. But tell me what it was that I got. What was the reward that I got? What affected me? How is this going to change things? I haven't been here. And it doesn't have anything listed of what's going to be here. I think this might actually be a town. Because the map is already uncovered. Mayhaps a town. What is that? I shot air out of it, right? No, okay, whatever. Chill. Just want to help you out. So these guys are warriors of legend, if you will. I get a Nordic vibe off of them. When you're at the end, they do become constellations in the sky. But that's the idea. I get like in Nordic mythology, like Thor and Odin, they were real people, and then they die and ascend and wait in Valhalla and whatnot. Well, that was pointless. That's cool. So apparently I just messed that pattern up. Not even paying attention. Anyways, I'm not a Nordic mythology guru, but I do know a little bit about it, and this kind of gives me that vibe a little bit. Wait a minute. This is the final boss that I've killed 3 times prior. Except he looks a little bit different. What is going on here? Hold up. Alright, this is different. Maybe there's going to be different... Okay. I mean, he's tearing me up, and I feel like I'm about to die. Oh, health pickup. Oh, that... I can't grab it. That's cool. That's cool. I didn't want it anyways. Wow. So, that would be the first time that I've died to him. And it's going to give a different cutscene. That wasn't the end of all the days. I ran into the boss early. Obviously wasn't ready for him. Didn't have any of my experience points spent or anything like that. And died to him. Okay. And the end of the game. Wow. Okay. That's different. Well, there you have it. Kind of pretty much the basic breakdown of it. If you played a different character or tried different maps, your experience is going to be different. Myself, it's $15 or your regional equivalent on Steam. I like that they tried something different. I love the music in this. It's fantastic music. The combat obviously is not the design of the game for it to be. It's not supposed to be the focal point. And I get that. So it's... And I understand. I'm okay with the game that the combat's not the main ordeal of the game. I don't like how the story shapes itself. I think it could have done a little bit more. Maybe put some more into it. Because this is what I get. This is the end story. Okay, so it does say known to steal various small animals and raise them to become allies in battle, which I stole the pig. Got it. I died in the battle with the false king because I just died on the last guy. And I was cunning right there. So everything that happens shapes this story right here at the end. It's kind of like a personality simulator type of deal. It's a cool idea. For $15, I don't think it's worth it. For $15, there are... I mean, I got Witcher 2 for like $2 on Steam, okay? There are a lot more... If you're looking for a story-driven experience, there are a lot of games out there that do it better than this one. Do they shape your own story as you're playing? Yes and no. I've seen Mass Effect at that price before, though, okay? That's what I'm saying. If this seems like it interests you, and you're willing to spend the $15, awesome. Go for it. Myself, I would probably wait until it's about 40 to 50% off. $7.50, I'll throw it at this game, no problem. Get a few hours of it, awesome. But for $15, that's kind of steep for what Moonhunters brings to the table. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time with it, but I've played 2, maybe 3 hours of it. I might play through once or twice more, and I'll be done. I'll be done with the game. The soundtrack, on the other hand, I'll probably be actually picking that up because it is actually absolutely phenomenal. I wish I would have found my favorite track that I've found thus far in my playthrough. I would have let you listen to that. But there you have it, folks. That is Moonhunter, and it is available on Steam for $15 or your regional equivalent. If you like what you see, go pick it up. If not, well, we'll have another Steam Shuffle out here shortly, and hopefully it'll be a game that you're more interested in. Until then, my name is Asher. Take it easy.